Hello everyone, my name's Yunari, and for the entirety of 2021, I've kept a bullet journal for the very first time. And seeing how it's nearly the end of the year, or at least it's still 2021 while I'm writing this script, I'd figured I'd reflect on my bullet journal experience together with you all. And yeah, who knows, maybe after this video you might also be intrigued by the concept of bullet journaling or something. Hey, Yunari from February 2022 here. Yeah, so I took a bit of a break in December and January, so hence the kind of dated footage. We're well into 2022 by now, but regardless, I still think it's very much worthwhile starting a bullet journal if this concept intrigues you. Even if you've missed out on the month of January, hell, it could very well be that you'd need a second journal even before 2022 ends. Or on the flip side, you could potentially last well into 2023 with just one journal. It really depends on the person. What I'm saying is, don't worry and give it a bash if it sounds interesting. With that said, on with the video. For one, there's probably plenty of you out there who don't know what a bullet journal is, so to my understanding, it's basically a cross between a journal, a tracker, and a to-do list. Initially, the concept was invented to help you boost your productivity, like help you plan out your daily life. But eventually it just kind of evolved into this very personalized experience where each person's bullet journal will contain different elements depending on the person. Common elements you will find in bullet journals are to-do lists, mood trackers, movie trackers, a gratitude log, a monthly overview, financial planning, just a whole bunch of various items that are supposed to log your current day-to-day life and basically help you plan ahead. And so by the end of the year, you basically have this very nice overview of your personal growth. I also started out my bullet journal this way, having all of those sort of like standard pages. Like, you start out with your year title. Some people make this look super fancy and have their journal themed around one very specific aesthetic. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had never even worked with washi tape or stickers or markers or whatever the fuck before. So I just tried some stuff. So yes, please don't judge the look of my pages too harshly, please. Then there's this spread with a Dear Future Me letter. The title kind of already explains it. You write a letter to your future self about your hopes and wishes for this upcoming year, and in my case, I'll also be writing a Dear Past Me letter at the end of this year, in which I will reply to that letter. Again, I think it's really cool to have a thing like this in your journal, especially to look back on in like a couple of years. It seems to be so cool. By the way, if you're wondering why everything is written in gibberish, hello, my name is Yunari, and ik spreek Nederlands, want ik kom uit Brabant. Next to that is a year in pixels. The idea is that you're supposed to track your mood every single day, and then at the end of the year you have this very neat little overview of your mood throughout the entire year, and you'll be able to notice patterns and stuff like that. But, as you can see, after a few months I was just like, fuck this, way too much effort. Then there's a couple pages dedicated to logging the activities and food supplies of my bunnies, Fudge and Hazel. But as you can see, I also quickly gave up on this. Tracking just wasn't really my thing, I suppose. Then there's a couple pages dedicated to YouTube, where I write down ideas and milestones. Oh, I really had hoped I'd reach like 120k by the end of this year, but alas. With life, you never know. Maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. We'll see where the river takes us. Oh hey! Oh yeah, playlists are also a very big thing in bullet journals, where you track your most listened to song of that week or month. Kind of a shame that I stopped halfway, as I do think it's a really fun thing to look back on. Like, in a couple of years you'll be able to see like, oh wow, this was my music taste from back then, holy shit. It's still the same. So I probably will bring back this element in my next year's journal. Then a wish list, which I didn't really end up using much, as I use a website called Gift Hero where I track all of my gifts. So this was a bit redundant, but I just thought it looked cute, especially with all the pictures and everything. Movies! Just a nice little overview of movies I watched. I did run out of space in June, but I eventually managed to find a solution to that, which you'll see later in the video. Now, after all those yearly pages, you essentially make layouts per month, or per week, whichever you prefer, and do all of your tracking and reflecting and such on a month-to-month basis. I didn't really incorporate too many tracking elements, as I personally really wanted to use my bullet journal more as a log rather than a planner. I also saw people doing this mood scarf thing, which I thought was super cute, but yeah, again, I'm just not into daily tracking. Then I decided to just write a quick summary per week of what I did and how I felt. Then there's 2 pages all dedicated to basically the happy moments of that month and the frustrating moments of that month. I also wanted to log all of my YouTube video activity, so for each month I made this timeline with notes about what I did that day, and also just tracking the amount of time I worked per day on YouTube stuff. And at the end of the month there's a page with a habit tracker, which I again dropped after January. And just general media and stuff that I enjoyed that month, like Stardew Valley. God, I was addicted to that game for a good while. February and March basically have the same sort of layout, with a couple minor changes. April was the month where I really started to discover what I wanted out of my bullet journal. I really wanted my journal to be something I can look back on in like X amount of years, and see what I was thinking about at that time, and what I enjoyed, what I did, how I felt. It just seems really nice to be able to look back on that. And so the amount of writing and text actually increased a lot because of that. Some people keep their entries in their bullet journals like super brief and make them very visual, or they only add like to-do lists and stuff like that. But I found that I really enjoyed just using my journal more as a diary, basically. Like, you can say that I still had the YouTube log, but entries are getting longer, still kept the monthly interests page, and a diary section instead of a weekly summary. Cause sometimes I just had weeks where nothing happened at all, or sometimes I'd have weeks where just way too fucking much would happen. So I figured, why not just write whenever something happens? May is super similar, and the diary section really started to take over this month's layout. Hey, Subnautica. By this point I did notice that there was quite a lack of images, so in June's layout I was like, you know what? Diary only, but with photos. So I just started adding photos and images of shows and movies I was watching. Again, I don't know, but just like photos and images just add way more flair, way more personality to a page. And yeah, my layout has pretty much been the same ever since June. I did start paying a bit more attention to the visual style of each month. For example, for July I stuck to like a green and red color scheme. Oh yeah, and in August I also added a This Month section, where I basically just write down in short bits what significant things happened that month. Look, it's my boarding pass. I also made an effort to start saving more tickets and physical memoria to paste into my journal. Basically just so I'd have a sort of like souvenir to remember an event by. Like here, train tickets to Glasgow Central. Ah yeah, during September I realized that sometimes I just really need to vent, right? So I also started adding pages with just rants, basically, about certain topics that I just had to get off my mind in that moment. Let's see, we also got some souvenirs, boarding pass, train ticket, Euro florist. And indeed, about 3 or so rants. Also art. Then we have October with a surprisingly summery vibe. Again, I just really wanted to use this particular washi tape, so blue and green it was for this month. Also added my very first mini book review in here. The Book on the Taboo Against Knowing Who You Are by Alan Watts. The dude has some really cool ideas I vibe with, but his writing style is just so rambly. Fudge at the vet. Oh, and here's an entire section just dedicated to sticker shop research. I've been meaning to start a sticker shop some point soon, As you can see, lots and lots of info stuff. I've been very busy building the shop itself in recent weeks, but I'll make sure to disclose more info about that when I'm closer to getting everything finished and whatever. Also, more art. Midnight Gospel, yes. Such a good fucking show. Please make season 2. Please. And then we have November and December. So yeah, that was my bullet journal. When I started it earlier this year, I really wasn't expecting to still be using it now at the very end. Cause I mean, any new habits you start in January generally die out quite quickly. But not this one, apparently. Again, I just really enjoyed making this. Not only that, but in a sense it's also very therapeutic. Like, it might sound strange, but because I'm a very perfectionistic person by nature, making a bullet journal where everything you write and decorate is basically permanent is pretty challenging. Because you really have this urge sometimes to just slightly shift this one sticker a little bit more up and then, oh no, wait, you already pasted it on the paper. Like, you just can't really easily change things anymore without fucking up the paper in that case. You just gotta be like, yes, this looks good enough, it's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. Next month I get to try again with a new layout. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my showcase. Again, I think it's a very good relaxation hobby to have. Something to just help you take off your mind off of your normal productive hobbies. And yeah, I look forward to looking back on this journal in like 5 years or so. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye! Hey, thank you very much for making it all the way through this video. Like I mentioned, this video has been in production since December, so I'm very fucking happy that it's finally finished. And yeah, like I said, I've been mainly focused on like building my shop stuff. Again, I really hope you guys are looking forward to the sticker shop idea, because I am very much excited about it. And so far everything is coming along very nicely. In case you missed it, back in November I posted a ginormous thread about my current feelings towards YouTube, so if you haven't seen that, feel free to check that out. I think I also posted it to the YouTube community tab, so go check that if you're interested about all that. Anyway, I want to give a special shout out to Methicha, Matt, and Romanov for supporting me on Patreon. Thank you guys very much.